Hi, everyone. Welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Tuesday, June 28, 2022. And I wanted to just talk to you tonight about something that's not necessarily all that political, but I found it interesting. It's no surprise in our world that there are people with varying abilities, mental capacities, physical capacities. And speaking of those, there are people who have such sensitive noses that they are members of the Perfume Society, which requires, sounds like about 7 years of study to be fully accredited. So they're born with this innate ability that is honed further. And I found that interesting. I also found interesting the next item. Just a second, I'll show you. Approximately 20 to 25% of our planet actually qualifies as a super taster. How's that for an interesting idea? These are people that we may think of as picky eaters, but they actually have heightened taste sensations, so they respond to taste differently than we do. So one of my viewers wrote and said that his name is Rodney. He lives in a place that has been very, very active about trying to get everybody to take a certain product. And since that has happened, he has noticed that he can smell those who've had the product. He can smell it. It's making life very complicated for him. And the smell almost leaves a taste, and we who aren't super tasters can identify with that. There's times we have a smell that leaves a taste in our mouth, so I could readily identify with that, even though I don't qualify as a super nose or super taster. But I thought, I'll bet Rodney isn't the only person on the planet who is noticing this, that when they're around, if they haven't had product and they're around people that are, that they're noticing a certain smell or taste associated with being in that company. And it takes some laundering and showering and a little bit of distance to get away from it. So I'm not going to ask the cards if Rodney's testimony was truthful. I know he believes what he said. I would like to ask the cards if, since these products have only been in the human population in this current mixture and conglomerate for a couple of years, if there are other people who have avoided the product, who notice a smell and taste when they're around them and thought that it was only them. Let's see if Rodney has some company and what we can do to maybe help that. Our first card is the Seven of Pentacles. Death card. Three of Cups. Page of Cups. Six of Pentacles. The Star. King of Swords. Okay, we're asking about this possibly new ability showing up, at least in one person, and does he have company somewhere around the planet who is also experiencing some of the same smell and taste sensations? And Rodney, you feel alone, but you are not alone. There are others who are going through the same thing. It's part of a long, slow change. The death card signifies some transformation and change, and this ability that's showing up, you always had it. However, you know, it wasn't until that particular blend of products was out that it became evident to you. Now, there's actually, you're going to be feeling much better about this. First of all, you have some company. There's others who are experiencing the same thing and we're afraid to speak up. And so you're going to find you have some company with this. It's possible that this may actually end up being a useful trait. For example, as without permission, product is added to foodstuffs, things like that. There may be a whole new cottage industry of people who are able to smell and taste and confirm that food is free of those type of additives. So it may end up being something useful. There may be an upside to this. Okay, if there is, be sure to get your money's worth, okay? Don't be afraid to ask for good compensation for your services. And your advice and clarification here, we have the star who keeps showing up in my reads. It just tells me that our world is changing. And interesting to note, I'm having trouble with Zoom tonight. The picture is coming and going, the mic is, so I don't know if we're having some of those solar flare issues that were possibly headed this way, or if other changes are in process, but I'm gonna keep going because it's a home production. So I know you don't expect perfection. And anyway, it also confirms always that all the things we're going through, we're not going through them alone, and there is a purpose for it. The King of Swords, who is very, very fair and just, and one of legalese, is going to be part of helping to make some corrections in our world and making things better. In the short term, you're still going to be doing a lot of laundry and showering and trying to avoid being in company where people have had the product, and there's no way around that. And I wish you lived somewhere that wasn't quite as densely participating. There we go again. So let's see if there's a little more information here. Okay. Got the 4 cups and steering out of troubled water. Okay. So don't be so focused on these things that you forget to find the blessing, the silver lining in this. And it may just be finding out that you have some company, that you're not alone in this. And it may be that this trait that you seem to have inherited and now are aware of can actually be put to good use as things change in our world. Okay, so before I close up this video, my email address is located in my About section. I will also put it under this description for this particular video. And if you would like to be in touch with Rodney because you have a similar sensation going on and you're noticing that trait in yourself, I will try to get a few of you in contact with one another. I'll be the go-between for, say, the first 10 or 12 people. I don't know how widespread this trait might be. And then if it seems like there's a lot, then Mr. Rodney can maybe set up a single-use type email or something, and we can get the word out that way. So you all can support one another and share strategies of how you're coping in this complicated world with this skill that doesn't seem like it has an upside, but it may. The cards are telling us there is an upside. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much. Your time is precious. I love that you chose to spend a little of it with me, and I send you all my best. Keep smiling, everybody, and keep picturing the world we want it to be, the way we want it to be, because that's part of making it happen. Remember, love wins. God wins. And I just repeated myself. Good night.